Greetings to everyone at the sound of my voice. I'd like to say you are welcome to this powerful seminar. I'm so grateful to be part of this great move of God in our time. I've been asked to speak on ministerial packaging for global exploit. As you can see, ministerial packaging for global impact. But first and foremost, I'd like to give honor to whom honor is due. I'd like to acknowledge the fact that I am not here by right, but by privilege. On that premise, may I humbly appreciate the man of God, Apostle Dr. Moses Simeon, for the privilege to share the platform with him. I'm so grateful, sir. It's an honor, a rare one indeed. Secondly, I'd like to appreciate and recognize the great mind and the great man of God, Reverend Dr. Elisha Nehemiah, Chancellor in Kenya. May God prosper you and his works in your hands in Jesus' name. Thirdly, my kudos goes to our amiable leadership coach, Pastor Noah Mangwarara. I believe I pronounced that correctly this time. From Zimbabwe. He's a loaded man and his contents are powerful. God bless you, sir. I believe we are going to meet so soon. Very soon. I believe that. Lastly, I'd like to bless God for the opportunity to speak in this great meeting and for the rare privilege of addressing great men and women of God in Africa. Many thanks to God. Very quickly, I'd like us to know why we are here. The theme under consideration for me, ministerial packaging for global impact, is so germane. Why? Because gone were the days when there was either one denomination or church in a city or town. Today, one has multiple choices to make. Gone were the days of Eli, the priest, when the word of God was so scarce and there was no open vision. Today, the word of God is everywhere you turn. On the internet, in churches, in denominations, and ministries everywhere. And to crown it all, there are open visions everywhere. And the book of the Bible is no more sealed, but opened. Therefore, everyone has a choice. Consequently, the question will be, how do I become visible and not hidden as a minister and as a ministry? How would I become known, recognized, appreciated, and make impact and not lost in the crowd? How do I make a bent and dent impact without compromising the truth of the gospel? So, this is why we are here. I don't want to get lost in the crowd. I don't want to be unknown. I want my work to be visible. I want it to be impactful. I want to leave a bent and a dent impact on my generation. See, one thing is very clear as an example. If you as a believer move to a new environment, there are questions basically you will have to ask yourself. Would you like to make your church a place of worship? So the question will be, how many people would like to make your church a place of worship? Will you visit or worship in a typical ministry that looks exactly like yours? In other words, these days, every individual already have a church to attend in mind. Every individual has a minister they can call their pastor, distance notwithstanding. So, we must consciously position and reposition the minister and the ministry for global audience, global recognition, global awareness. Consequently, your rewards will come from above and from abroad. Like us to go directly to the main points. Number one, ministerial packaging. So I'll begin to address this matter. Now let's consider what is ministerial packaging. First and foremost, ministerial packaging is not faking it to make it. I want you to know it is not faking it to make it. Ministerial packaging is simply the projection, the branding, and the public image of the minister, the ministry, the programs, the congregation, and the contents. What is the people's perception? What is the public perception of the minister, of the ministry, of the programs of the minister or the ministry, of the congregation, the audience, and the content of the minister or the ministry? That is exactly what we mean by ministerial packaging. Thus, it means the minister, the ministry, the program, the congregation, and content must represent and carry same and definite identity for global impact. That is, the appearance, the outlook, and public perception and image of the church, the denomination, and ministry are so important. For instance, Jesus was asking his disciples. One day, Jesus knew himself, he knew his purpose, he knew what he carried, but he also knew that the way people receive him is so important. So he asked his disciples, what do people say the Son of Man is? Who do they take me for? And they began to tell him many things. He began to tell them, this is who I am. So he knew himself, but he wanted to know what was in the mind of the people, because it was important as well. So the public perception, the public picture, the public belief of the minister, of the ministry, of the program, of the congregation and content is very germane. So that is exactly what we are talking about. So why packaging? Why must we package the minister? And why must we package the ministry? Why must we package the content? Why must we package our doings, our actions, our contents? We do this for the following reason. See, the reality is that there are a lot of people that perhaps have similar talent, gift of vision as you, aka your contemporaries in the ministry or in business. In quote, those are your competitors. Whether we like it or not, there are people who are running on the same track like you. However, how you define your brand determines how relevant you become. Your brand is the perception of your audience, your congregation, your clients, or customers about you and your ministry or your business, as the case may be. So take time to define it thoroughly and early enough before the public defines it for you. Be able to answer the question why you exist. Why should people listen to you? Don't try to mimic other brands, other denominations, other pastors, other ministers. Simply put, your branding should resonate very closely with your mission and vision statement. Don't try to be a jack of all things. Focus on what you do best and the value you bring to the table. Now, I'm going to highlight the variables for packaging. What are those variables that needed to be packaged? Number one, I mentioned them the other time. The variables number one that needs to be packaged is the minister. The minister needs to be packaged. The first identity of the ministry is the minister. The mentality, the content of the minister, the growth of the minister determine the growth of the ministry. A minister can grow enough. If a minister can grow enough, definitely the ministry will grow. So, but if the minister cannot grow, the ministry will never grow. How do you know the minister is growing? Check him out, his outlook, his appearance, the public image about him. What is his impact? What are his contents? This is how to know a minister. So the first identity of the ministry is the minister. The apostle, the prophet, the bishop, the pastor, the teacher, the evangelist, the deacons and the deaconesses. These are representations. These are the symbols of the church. So the minister is the number one personality that must be packaged. And the mentality he carries determines the growth of the ministry or the denomination. So Apostle Paul says, study to show. What is the content? What is the value? What is the weight of the minister? How much does he know? What does he know? What can he do? What unction does he carry to function? This is the packaging of the minister. It says, study to show. Do the work of an evangelist. Make sure your calling and election is sure. Make sure you prove your calling. Make full proof of it. There must be a need to prove. And how do you prove? With evidences. So the first thing to package is the minister. Number two, the ministry. The ministry needs to be packaged. Here I'm talking about the outlook of the ministry. Perhaps you have a congregation, perhaps you have a building, perhaps you have a location. Now you have a tabernacle in your environment, the place for meeting and worship. How does it look like? How convenient is it? How suitable, how welcoming, how comfortable are people when they come in? What is the seating arrangement like? Is there orderliness? Are there protocols and culture established? Are there organizational structure, design, the organogram of the church or the ministry? Are there hierarchy and bureaucracy in place? What are the policies and what are the crisis management approach put in place? Do you have established culture and protocols? A taste of excellence is needed here. You see, you don't need all the money in the world to do this. Common neatness, arrangement. When people come around, how does the usher fix them? What is the seating arrangement like? How does people come in? How they go out? Are there orderliness? That is what we're talking about here. So, it doesn't take all the money in the world to put this together. It's just reorientation. You reorientate the workforce, reorientate the people, reorientate the organization such that whether you are there or not, things are put in place. So, a taste of excellence is needed. It doesn't have to be expensive, but neat and well coordinated. So the next thing that must be packaged is the programs. See, these are the activities, the flyers, the signposts, the billboard, and everything that represents the church. Here, may I say this, to dress well is not expensive. You only need a mindset to dress well. You see, everything that brings about the image of the church, one of those is the programs, the identity your flyers carry, the signposts, the billboard. How do you present it to the public? Let there be a taste of excellence. Every time you want to dish out a flyer, a billboard, let people begin to see that this person knows what he's doing. I used to say something that to dress to meet, not to kill. Carry excellent mentality when it comes to design, handbills, signposts, flyers of the church. With little resources, you can do a nice and powerful graphics. You only need to locate excellent designer, excellent people, excellent material that can put this together for you. Don't just shun out any publication. Don't just shun out any publication and say, don't worry. No, make sure there is a taste of excellence in what you are doing. Somebody will look at it and say, the man doesn't have much, but at least look at what he put together. This time around, graphics design can do a lot of work. Okay, don't just dish out anything. I repeat, don't dish out anything that will not speak or represent you and your ministry well. So the next thing to be packaged is the congregation. See, the target congregation, your audience, your community, your nation, the political class or class of people. Whether you have the congregation now or they are your targets, you need to package them, and you need to visualize what kind of people are you looking for. So as leaders, God has given us a mandate. If we are going to be impactful, the first question we must ask ourselves is, who are our targets? Who are our targets? How do we reorientate? How do we impact these people to bring out the best in them? Once you have an answer to this question figured out, it is the first step in creating the right strategy in impacting a generation. Knowing this answer helps you tailor your brand message in an efficient and effective manner to your audience. Understanding your target audience means knowing their emotional strengths and weaknesses. Now, lastly, what should be packaged? The variables for packaging is the content. The content. By content, I mean the messages, the teaching, the utterances, the prophecies, the testimonies, the publications, and books of the minister and of the ministry. These are contents that go viral than you in person, than your personality. So many people are reading wisdom today, speaking home and abroad, that I have never met. So many are reading the content of Pastor Noah Manwangwarara, leadership coach, and the possibility is he may not even meet them. So many people are enjoying the ministry and works of Pastor, Dr. and Apostle Simeon Moses on social media platform, and the possibility is they may never meet him. But his reward can come anytime, and anytime from anywhere. It can come from above and it can come from abroad. So the content you are dishing out, your messages, your teachings, your utterances, your prophecies, your testimony, your publications and books is very important. So, but one thing is clear, I've observed that ministries and ministers this age have no problem of content. We have content. Content is not our problem. Now, we have enough content and we can generate more than enough content where none is. So, content, no problem. The question is, how genuine the content are is a different ballgame. The validity of the content is a different matter. Is the content attractive, inviting, and commanding attention, audience, and readers? Who is reading? Who is listening? Who is following the content? What is the percentage impact of the content? How many are testing? How many are longing? How many are hungry for the content? That should be the germane question here. Why did I say that? It is folly and a waste of time, a waste of resources, and a waste of substance to continually dish out a food nobody eats. Significantly, there might not be anything wrong with the dish or the food. It might just need repackaging. For instance, the message of salvation might just begin like Philip's approach, a discussion form, and not really frowning of faces or being too serious. Message of resurrection could be of a joyful sound instead of presenting it as if one must die now. The message of tribulation period could as well be presented and delivered in a civilized manner. In other words, the topic should be softening, amiable, appealing, inviting, relational. People should be able to relate with it, compelling and motivational. The delivery approach and presentation should be welcoming. Content, still talking content. Content and its campaign should be social and socially compliant. You see, we have to take the issue of content so seriously. Many of us, we have so much to dish out. We are loaded. We are powerful, but nobody is listening to us. So, our content should be social and socially compliant. It should be relevant for relational discussion, deliberation, and interaction. These days, content are exposed via social media platform. How? If you know your content cannot stand criticism, if your content cannot stand criticism, don't bring it up at all. If your content cannot be defended universally and scripturally, don't even bother to bring it up. Many content cannot go beyond the confines of their local church, local denomination, nations, and tribe because of sentiment, culture, and traditional coloration webbed around it and with it. Such should not bother about global impact. Such should just maintain, sustain, and stay where they are. Today, great men of God's content are challenged and criticized. Their contents, messages, and acclaimed and proclaimed testimonies are under attack because it lacks credibility. Again, it is also very important for every content to be practical and pragmatic. Audience should be able to relate with it, practice, and put it to work. It shouldn't be theoretical. So let's talk about the global impact. Global impact is how we effect change and maximize impact and resources through our ministry globally, that is, beyond our local space. We live in a world where change is constant And in order to stay relevant, we have to be flexible and adaptive to change. Some of the common changes we are seeing in the world today are rapid technological advancement, change in consumer taste, change in values, change in culture, change in product, and more. While most of these changes are evident mostly in the secular world, they directly or indirectly impact and affect the ministry God placed in our hands. We are going to be impactful amidst the ongoing changes. We need to be equipped, knowledgeable, positions to penetrate our target audience. Companies and organizations constantly update their marketing strategy as needed to reach their target market and to keep them engaged in their products and services in an effective manner. With the growth of the internet, it is easy to achieve global branding in today's world. So let's quickly look at the importance of ministerial packaging. Importance of ministerial packaging. Number one, packaging gets you recognition. Now, if you want to be globally recognized, there are standards, there are protocols, there are things to do. So packaging gets you recognition. In other words, how you brand yourself determines the recognition you get. The right branding will get your name, your logo, your brand out there quickly to your target audience. There is a common saying, dress how you would like to be addressed. So packaging gives you that recognition. Number two, packaging increases your ministerial value. Packaging increases your ministerial value. Proper branding will increase your ministerial value. It will determine the quality of people that demands your presence or services. See, this, what we are talking about is your locality is no more your market share. You are no more restricted or restrained to your locality. So ministerial packaging will increase your value. It will determine the quality of people that demands for your presence or your service. When people notice the quality of content and consistency from you, they feel at ease to demand your service. I don't need to begin to give example. Personally, as I'm talking, I'm a good example of that. Okay, because of time, let's quickly move on. Packaging generates referrals. People begin to point to you. They refer another person to you. They point you and reference you, make reference to you. All right. Packaging generates referrals, invitations, and revenue for your life, for your ministry. People that know you are likely to speak of you to their friends and network, especially when they are aware of the value you bring. Packaging helps you create clarity and focus you need for your ministry. Packaging boosts your chances, opportunity, and visibility. You become known. You become well known as a result of packaging. Now let's quickly look at the tools for global impact. Definitely there must be tools. There are physical tools, there are social tools, there are platforms for global impact. The one we're having today is an example of that. Okay, so what are these tools? Number one, you have to be innovative and bold. If you are shy or you are ashamed, there are some content you will not share. You have to be creative, you have to be innovative, you have to be bold. So alongside your innovation, alongside your creativity, you must be bold. Bold to share what you have. If you are going to make a global impact, you have to be willing to try new things without compromising your vision. Don't be too rigid with ideas. There are a lot of people that still use old approaches and expect new results. Remember, you are packaging for global impact. So, to stay relevant, you have to catch up with new method of branding. Nobody knew there will be a pandemic. However, there were people that are already using online platform to reach out to their audience, whereas some people didn't care about it so much before the global pandemic. Don't overlook the potential of video marketing. However, ensure that the content of the video is well thought and goes perfectly with your brand. Number 2, tools for global impact. Embrace technology. Embrace it. In your hand is a computer or a phone, a mobile phone. That is the world in your hand. Embrace technology. The willingness to embrace technology and innovation will get you the global attention required for your reach. However, it is not enough having social media accounts here and there. You must utilize it rightly. There is an art to engaging your audience. You have to be able to understand the metrics. Be willing to put yourself in the shoes of your audience and ask yourself, what will appeal to their interest? If you find it difficult doing this, find someone that fits an image of your target audience and ask a lot of questions. Number 3, choose quality over quantity. Choose quality over quantity. The quality is a big deal and will sustain your business or your ministry, as the case may be. Don't fall into the temptation of posting a content at all costs. Set a standard and don't compromise the standard. Make sure you have done a quality check on your content before putting it out there. Consistency is key. Remember, you are packaging yourself for a global impact. Provide exactly what you promise according to your mission statement. I want you to go through that again. Read it again and again. I want to say thank you to everybody. I welcome your questions, your contribution, your remarks, your testimonies. My name is John O. Alabi, your practical wisdom coach, Wisdom Today Speaking. My YouTube address is Wisdom Today Speaking. LinkedIn, John Alabi. On Facebook, John Alabi. WhatsApp, +234 0803321 5134. Bless you powerfully. Thank you for your audience. Thank you for your attention. And thank you to Apostle Dr. Simeon Moses. Glad to be with you. God bless you.